We're so proud to be announcing that Beneplan is now providing coverage for the Beneplan HR Toolkit for all of our members starting 2018. The HR Toolkit provides excess coverage for the following. 1, an employee and family assistance program from Shepell. 2, coverage for pharmacogenetic testing from Personalized Prescribing Inc. And 3, access to an HR advisor, a CHRP, at no cost. Each pillar is special in its own unique way. The reason why Beneplan decided to implement the HR Toolkit is because a number of things were happening to employment law in 2018. The minimum wage was increasing, Employment Standards Act was being updated, and now WSIB now covers chronic mental stress as a workplace injury. So we found that employers really needed a toolkit to help them get through this new set of circumstances. So the first coverage is an employee and family assistance program from Shepell, which covers employees and their dependents. I like to call an employee assistance program sometimes a mental health concierge, because it really is that. If an employee has any type of stress pertaining to work or life or other, they're able to call in or visit workhealthlife.com and speak to a therapist or counselor at no cost, up to a certain number of hours depending on their own situation. There are a few ways where this coverage can come in really handy. Imagine an employee walks into your office saying that their spouse is going through a really difficult time and they're thinking of leaving them. So as an employer, you might not be sure how to grapple with an issue like that. You might not be qualified yourself to help them through that set of circumstances, and you also might not want to delve into the private and sensitive nature of that information. So what you could do is actually refer them to the Shepell EAP and allow them to speak to a counselor completely confidentially without you as the employer finding out what happened. An example of some of the recent cases we've seen at Shepell include the following. A spouse called in because they were thinking of leaving their partner and they needed help. So they were able to speak to a divorce lawyer for half an hour at no charge. Another recent example of a time when the EAP helped out an employee is when an employee called in because they were actually caring for 2 elderly parents and they were finding it really hard to balance between work and life after hours. So they called the EAP and they were able to actually speak to somebody who could triage and find and consolidate all of the different elder care resources available at their disposal. There were some that were free and some that they had to pay for, but instead of the employee taking a few hours at work to research the different options and leave work to go and visit the different options, there was somebody on the other end of the line at Shepell that could help them actually assess all of this and cut down their research time. Another example of a time when Shepell helped an employee is when somebody called in because they're thinking of leaving their spouse. So that employee was actually able to speak to a family lawyer at no charge for half an hour. The lawyer then helped them understand the next steps for grappling with this really tough situation in their life.